Welcome back, Flex Fam, to another episode of Flex in the City. I'm Rada.
And I'm Lisa, and this is episode 36. I'm getting there.
How you doing?
I am good. I'm still recovering from our little birthday celebration for you over the weekend, which was
That was so
epic
much
night. It
fun.
was
So much fun.
good. Can we talk about how I was very pleasantly surprised that there was not only dancing happening in a restaurant, but on tables, and everyone was part of it.
Yeah.
In Munich.
Yeah.
That's madness. Crazy.
So I love that about there's a lot of restaurants that you find here where, you make your reservation for like 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
You eat your dinner.
10:30.
And then 10:30, like all the dishes are cleared. And especially with Greek restaurants, and this is what I love, because like Greek restaurants, I mean, I don't know if it's like a tradition or whatever, but used to see like the whole like throwing plates thing.
The dancing on the tables also is
and so here, instead of giving you plates to throw, obviously, because it's dangerous and also costly.
I was gonna say, even with what they gave us, I was like, this is probably adding up.
Yeah. So they go around and they hand out literal stacks of white tissues.
Yeah, like
to
napkins.
Each table, napkins, and then they play that song, the traditional Greek song. Dun, dun, dun.
How it goes.
It's a traditional one. Like, it's like,
when it's time. Yeah, basically.
As soon as you hear that, like, you start throwing these napkins in the air. I mean,
so
by
cool.
the end of the night, there's literal like a layer of napkins on the floor.
All over the table.
People get on the tables and they start dancing. We had some guy who we found out later was a bartender there from like a long time ago. No, it's a different guy. who came in. He had on a brown leather jacket, and as soon as he walked in, he jumps on our table, literally has handcuffs hanging off of his jacket.
Still don't know what those were for.
Busts out with a toy horse, and is like riding the horse. And I was just like, what the hell's going on? On the table.
This is in a restaurant. This is not like a dance venue. This is in a restaurant.
Jumps down, jumps up on another table. I think at some point his shirt came off.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened either, because I went to the bathroom with one of the other girls, and when we came out, literally after what felt like only 5 minutes, the whole scene had changed. Like, the guy's shirt was off.
Oh my God.
Like, there was a chair on a table. I was like...
There was a girl who was giving him a lovely dance.
Oh God. She started dancing by herself. Like, when I went into the bathroom, she was doing the most on her own. And I was already like, where are her friends?
She was literally by herself.
Yeah, I was like, it's a bad start. Yeah. It's still early, honey. Like, you're doing too much for 10:45. Yeah. She was never mind, just at the strip club.
Yeah. So when at the literal moment that you came out, the guy was shirtless on the table. Yes. She's giving him a dance.
Like a lap dance.
No, but they were like lying down.
That's what it was.
It started with a lap dance. You would have seen the lap dance initially.
I only saw it in the videos in the group chat afterwards. I was like, how long were we going?
No, this was like, and then so as at some point, she starts throwing her shoes off. Like, and she kicking them off, and one of the shoes lands on my broken toe, which we will
talk about.
We will talk about on my like a literal bullseye right on my broken toe, and then the other shoe comes flying and lands in my face. Like, it's coming towards my face, and my immediate reaction was not to push it away, but to catch it and hit myself in the face with it. And I just thought, what the hell's going on? And I think that's when you were coming out, because I remember telling you.
I just got it. Yeah,
a shoe just hit me in the face.
I was like, "Where is it? What?"
And you're like, "I don't get it.
From where?"
Oh man.
Yeah, it was madness in a good way, though. It was a fun night,
and it was like 8 of us.
Yeah,
girls. I think it was 8 of us,
and I got to meet a lot of your friends that you talk about. Shout out to them who were so
that
lovely.
Was nice.
So it was really nice.
It was a funny night because a lot of them are who speak German fluently, are German speaking. And English is not their forte, although they speak English well. But I think they just feel a bit self-conscious, when they speak it, because they have an accent and all that. So we had like this whole like half the conversation was in German, and then it would switch to English, and then back to German, and then back. And so, but we made it work. Danglish, but we made it work. It was so funny.
It worked. It was fun. And then like by the time you're dancing, like everybody,
nobody's talking. I mean,
it's just like fun is universal. Yeah, it was so nice. No, it was really good. And then apparently that wasn't enough for us because we were like, no, now we need to go to the club and actually dance. Because it wasn't enough for us. We went to turn it up a notch. It was like after midnight when we were leaving.
We got there. I think we got there around 12:30, maybe.
To the club. Yeah.
And then we were on a guest list, but the guy couldn't find our name. And we later find out that we were
on the list.
We were on the guest list. We weren't meant to pay entrance or anything like that.
Or wait in line.
And then he even had instructions. Like we got a screenshot the next day.
Yeah.
Like bring them immediately to right stage of like right side of the DJ and bring them to some girl. Like they had a name of a girl that we should have been brought to.
Damn, really?
And I was like, damn. So we would have been literally right there, VIP.
Right there, instead of in the mosh pit where we were.
Oh my God. And I'm short, so I literally was like, I felt like I was drowning.
It was packed. It was packed. I forgot what clubbing was like, honestly.
And I think we spent most of the time waiting in line for the bathroom. Honestly, I mean, what place has 2 bathrooms?
2 toilets.
Toilets
only.
For ladies.
In a whole club that has like 5 different areas.
Yeah. And there was literally.
And it was capacity.
I think we were in line for at least 30, 40 minutes.
Like almost an hour. Yeah.
And each time, 30 minutes. We weren't smart. We should have all just gone to the bathroom at the same time and gotten it done with. But we literally were doing it in shifts.
Like,
so 2 people would leave.
I don't know why we did it.
And then come back half an hour later or 45 minutes later. And then anher 2 were like, oh shit, I need to go to the bathroom. I should go.
Yeah. So the group was like split for like the better part of an hour. And it was cool to be in an environment where there was like actual diversity, and I was like, this is where all the people of color are hiding. Where do you guys go after the club? Tell me, let us know, please. Because they're here, they're somewhere, but you just don't see them. It was nice, it was good. The music was cute, was good. Like they had nice little remixes with like Amapiano and Afrobeat.
Yeah, that was good. It was really good.
And we made it. I didn't think that I would make it on our feet and dancing and still not like dying.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 a.m.
4 a.m. I got home at 4:30 because you're obviously in the city, closer, so you're closer. So by the time, and then we had 5 girls to drop off. So by the time
you guys all went in the same,
and we're all in the same like area. So it was like, dropping off one after another. So by the time I got home, it was 4:30. I remember getting a message from my kid at 11:30. He's like, Mama,
I thought you were gonna say 4:30.
No, at 11:30. And he's like, when are you coming home? He does that every time I'm out. When are you coming home? I'm like, Habibi, not for a while, okay?
Tomorrow.
Like I'll be home tomorrow morning.
You'll see me tomorrow.
You'll see me
when you wake up.
And I was so honest. I was like, not for a while.
Not for a while.
Love you.
Good night, baby.
And my husband messages me at 3 a.m. He's like, are you okay? I'm like,
yeah, we're good.
We're good.
See you in an hour or so.
Leaving soon.
My God, it was amazing. And I didn't feel it. I was telling you this before too. I was like, you don't realize until like you're in an environment that's calm because you're just on the adrenaline, the energy, and you get into a different environment.
Yeah.
And then you like feel everything.
Yeah.
Like I got home and I was like, holy crap, my feet are killing me.
And you had heels on. Like I was in my sneakers.
I didn't feel anything though until I got out of the Uber here and was walking to the apartment, waddling. Literally, I was like, I hope none of my neighbors see me because I was literally like on my Annalise Keating walk.
Now you're like all walking like me by the end of the night.
Yeah, basically. And that's why I was like, how's your toe? Because my toe isn't even broken and I'm in pain. And you did the most.
Oh man,
dancing on that toe.
My friend, I was talking to her this morning and she's like, I can't even put shoes on right now. And she was in heels also that night. So she's like, I can't. And I was like, y'all are feeling what I'm feeling now. Like y'all, everyone's walking like me because I have a limp right now from my toe. So, but I was okay. You know why? But I normally, like when I dance, like I'm moving my entire body, but I was not able to like move my feet.
How you move. Yeah.
So I was literally just like doing like my shoulders and my waist.
Yeah.
But the entire time I was like, oh my God, I hope to God nobody steps on my foot. Like, especially when we got to the club.
Because they would be dead.
Yeah.
We would have killed them.
And And I remember getting on one of the tables at one point because everybody was we had like this long table.
Not all of us got on the table.
You would have hit your head anyway, by the way.
One,
because it was such a short ceiling.
I had a short dress on. I was like, I'm not letting everybody be seeing all my,
So I'm on the table dancing. There's like, I think we were 8. Yeah, we were 8 girls and 5 of us were on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was facing one of the girls and we're dancing. And I thought, oh my God, if this table falls right now, I'm going to be screwed. And so I whisper this to one of my friends.
Yeah.
And so she starts rocking the table back and forth on purpose.
She's like, let's turn it up a notch.
And that's when I got down. And you have footage of me
the
going.
Video because I was like, ooh,
no.
They're all having the best time on the table. And then all you see is her.
Like,
she's dancing and then all of a sudden she's like,
no.
And she just comes down really slowly back onto the couch.
And I refused also to sit down with my legs under the table. Once I saw people actually standing,
because
I just thought
if the table collapses,
it's collapsing on my feet.
It's not a broken toe you have to deal with. It's a whole
mess of other.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Oh my God.
And a lawsuit.
Yeah, a lawsuit.
Oh my God. Although they have a lot of trust in those tables because
they do.
All I was just looking around, I was like, the propensity for injury
is
so much here. If someone falls off the table, because we didn't sign anything.
No. And you know that they're doing that Friday night, they're doing that Saturday night. I don't know what the rest of the week looks like, but I'm positive that on the weekend, at least Friday and Saturday, they're doing that.
Oh my God. And not our waiter, like, coming over and being like, just sitting down to chat with us.
No, he was like dancing on the table.
Yeah.
With us at one point.
Afterwards. But like during dinner, I was like, the lady behind you is pissed off because she's trying to like order. And he was like, so anyway, guys.
Yeah. I literally had to give him, I looked at him one time and I was like,
yeah, she was not happy.
And he got up very smoothly and was like, so how can I help you? Like, what do you need?
And then he put his arm around her and she was like, after a second, I was like, well played, sir. Well played.
But at some point, there was a guy, one of the bartenders put on a Spider-Man mask and was going around on the tables,
because he
hopping
was built,
up from one table.
He was built like a wrestler, and then he just had only the mask on, and like I was like, he looked like Rey Mysterio, like the wrestler from back in the day. I'm like, this not match, like no.
And
why Spider-Man?
One of the girls with us there's a picture of her. I think. Yeah. I don't know if she actually shared it, but she took a selfie with Spider-Man.
It's in the group chat.
Is it in the group chat?
I saw.
Oh my God.
I did see.
That was so funny. It was so random. Just so
Such
random.
Such a fun night. It was just really nice because everyone was kind of on the same energy and dancing and chilled out and which is, hard to find too, especially when it's a group that big and a lot of people like we didn't know each other. A lot of you guys know each other, but maybe not everyone had met and it just like meshed really well. So yeah, no, it was a good night. It was good. Sunday though, woo shit.
Oh my God, I just wanted to sleep all day.
One of my years. Yeah. I can't believe you went to the movies on Sunday.
I did go to the movies, watched Mission Impossible. I'm not forgive me for anyone who is a Mission Impossible fan, but I'm just not a fan at all. And I felt like it was it just like went over my head, but at the same time, like the topic wasn't so weird. It's basically like AI takes over the world and has access to all of the nuclear plants.
Oh.
And it's like, and they literally have like a doomsday clock and just counting down the days. And I'm like, this shit is a bit too like.
They've done enough of them. Like it's going to become like Fast and
This
Furious.
was the last one. No, this was the last one because of the franchise. They've done
too much. And I'm like, you're running out of ideas. Yeah. It's like Fast and Furious where they're now like hurling cars into space. I'm like, stop.
They even have like a little message before the movie starts from Tom Cruise himself, who's like, I'm so glad that you've followed us on this journey and this is how it's supposed to and I just thought, I've only seen like maybe 1 or 2 of these. I have no idea.
The first one, like whatever, 30 years ago.
I've never seen the first one, but I know now how it went because they have little snapshots of each film in this one. So I'm like, oh, okay.
It's such lazy filmmaking.
Yeah. But it was 3 hours long. Almost 3 hours.
Oh, no,
like it was a bit too much for me.
That is a lot. That is
and
a lot.
Just
Speaking of movies, though, original movies, not sequels. We are going to see one tonight.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Why are you scared?
I can't do horror. Like I'm gonna be screaming the entire time. If there's people popping up from corners,
there's not a lot of jump scares, like stuff like that. Like,
and you've seen it twice, so you know what to expect. So I'm gonna be like on my toes.
Sinners, by the way. My third time.
Like when she sees a movie, she sees. Like,
listen, no, this is the only one I've gone back to see. Oh no, I've gone to see. What else did I go to see? More than once in the theater.
Titanic is the only movie that I went back to see. Like,
really?
3 or 4 times. In the
I think I saw it like 5 years after it came out.
Oh no!
I was like, we know how it ends. But I saw it, I was like, oh, cute. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She could have made room for him on the door. That's all, on the floating piece of wood. That's all I gotta say
about that. I saw an interview with her recently where she's like, it's not even a door.
It's not. Why did I think it was
a piece of stairs? It's part of a banister. It's not a door.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, I've been hearing about this for like decades. First of all, it's not a door. I was like,
but it was a big slab of wood.
It was like, yeah, like, but like she said
him.
that it wasn't a door. Apparently, that's like the word on the street. Yeah. Oh man, I like her. I like Kate Winslet though.
She's good.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
I saw something online that said, growing up and maturity is realizing that Billy Zane's character is actually the right guy for her.
What? He was a nightmare.
Someone said growing up is realizing it makes no sense that Rose threw away millions of dollars for a fling with some dude that she had like decades, like 50 years ago. I was like, also, yeah, good point.
Oh my God.
It's just not realistic.
Wow.
But yeah, it was really funny. Those little like sort of like maturity is realizing, like just when you look back at these movies, like maturity is realizing that Carrie in Sex and the City is extremely toxic as a friend.
She is,
and even as a partner. Oh my God.
Like very self-absorbed. No,
extremely.
Although she was always there for like her friends. Like, don't forget New Year's where she like
ran to see Miranda. But that's at the movie. That's at the movie stage. And also Miranda was always there for her. Like they carried her through all her bullshit. And like she left Miranda when Miranda hurt her back. And like, you know, like it was always about like her. And I understand that because it's a TV show. And she's the main character and she's the narrator and all of that. But I was like, yeah, she was actually kind of
the toxic
one. And also the toxic one in relationships, I feel like. Except for Burger.
Burger?
Oh my God.
Which one was Burger?
Broke up with her on a post-it because he couldn't handle that she was doing well.
I don't remember him. I don't remember him.
He was the one who was also a writer. Ron Livingston.
I don't know. Is this the one where they're back together in like the movie?
No, he's not in the movie.
Who's the other big love of her life? The guy that was Aiden. Yeah.
Oh God, I can't.
I didn't see the dynamic between them, but
even her. You watched the show, obviously.
Yeah, but there's like parts of it where I don't think I must have missed like parts of it because who you're talking about, unless I'm better with faces than names.
She cheated on Aiden with.
I thought with Big, yeah.
Yeah, and then Big's wife finds out because she catches her in the apartment.
Okay.
And like breaks her face chasing her down the. Yeah. So so then Carrie's like, oh my God, like everyone's getting hurt. We're done.
Yeah.
With Big. Then she basically begs for Aiden to take her back like later.
Okay.
He takes her back and then he's like obviously still has trust issues. So he's like trying to rush her into marriage and has this aversion. Like she sees the ring and she throws up. Also, the ring was ugly, so, but yeah. But so she has this huge aversion to marriage. And apparently, which she gets over by the time she's like marrying Big, which is weird. But anyway, growing up is also realizing Big. I was always team Big because
me too.
I like his swag. I like his energy. He's fine as hell. I've had a thing for Chris Notes since Law and Order.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw him, I was like, he can do no wrong, even though he did a whole bunch of wrong things. But
I think with Big, it's like you knew what you were getting. Like he wasn't
exactly
like pretending to be like this.
Who cheats on my wife, and
like take it or leave it kind of thing.
And is always gonna treat you like shit. Like he was consistent.
Yeah.
And but I just liked him because he like brought swag to the show a little bit.
I think
that
so.
Was cute.
Yeah.
Aiden, I just don't see it. And then so now that she's like, I feel like Big was a mistake in the show, in the spinoff. She's like, oh, like that's what she said in the last season. Spoiler if you're not watching, whatever the fuck they're calling it. What are they calling it?
Another.
What is it called?
End And it's
I almost said it ends with us. I was like,
yeah,
it's a whole different kind of fucked up.
And that's hold on, I need to find this out because
not as good as it gets. What is it called?
They're saying that after Big died. Like, come on,
just like that,
and just like that,
and just like
that.
Like,
how can you speak? I mean, I know he left the show for legal reasons. Like, there was some sort of
him out.
Yeah, they wrote him out,
which I don't know what happened with that. But I just really like the character, but I also like the guy.
I'm mad they also wrote Samantha out. Like, Samantha wasn't in it either.
No, but she left. They asked her to come back,
but
there was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Because it was always about.
No, they didn't get along. She and
Sarah
the main, they didn't get along at all. And apparently they were. I mean, there's two sides to every story, but I guess Kim Cattrall, Samantha's side of the story is that she was really rude to her and disrespectful and and she was just like, I feel like I've taken the character as far as I can take it. Like, I can't do it forever. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. And you can walk away. And when they asked her to come back, she has a cameo. Like, she's like on a phone call and you see her. And I think she's doing another one.
In which season? Because the first one?
In the movie. In the new show.
Yeah, and just like that.
The second season.
Like, okay, I only watched a few episodes of
in the first season. She's only on.
She's just sending her like text messages or flowers when Vic dies, and I'm
just like, stop trying to force her into conversations.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. In the other one, she actually has a phone call and you see her. Yeah, so she like filmed the scene. But yeah, she. So I feel like Aiden they just don't mesh.
Yeah,
like she's like this fashion conscious, like lives for fashion, like super materialistic person. Who also growing up is realizing all of the women are super. And at the end of the day, like the perfect man was always the man who could provide that lifestyle. Like that, yeah, weird. Anyway,
except for Miranda, but Miranda was
provided for herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Samantha worked
until she lost her shit in the TV show.
Okay, then there's something I missed.
Over
her client?
No, over her non-binary partner that she like leaves.
Okay, there's a whole season that I must have missed.
She cheats on Steve and leaves him for.
I'm talking about Samantha.
Oh, Samantha.
Miranda, I know.
Miranda had her own.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Samantha also.
Samantha also had her own.
Had her own.
Yeah.
But it was
but
what's her name?
She never settled down really.
No, it was what's her name and Carrie. What was the other one? Charlotte and Carrie that kind of like
Charlotte largely
needed to be taken care of.
Yeah. And taken care of beyond just like emotionally. I think they always needed a financial but a lot of the pomp and circumstance of the show is also that. It's like, like this exorbitant, ridiculous wardrobes that they would have where she has like this closet that's this big, but she never repeats anything. Like, I understand, and that's what we love to see, and we like to see all of that. So they were pandering to that. But someone who is that fashion conscious and literally like lives for fashion would not be with a guy like Aiden, who
I think that's why they probably introduced that character to kind of like show a softer side of her.
Maybe. But like, how does he align who he is with her?
I don't know what they're.
When you think about a relationship, even if you're not on the same level of like, oh my God, we both like die and live for fashion.
Yeah.
Like someone who understands that that's such a passion would have to not necessarily share it, but understand it. Like he doesn't.
I don't remember ever them having those kind of deep conversations.
I don't think so.
It was very surface level.
Yeah. But I mean,
maybe they're having deep conversations behind the scenes.
Maybe we're just not seeing it. It's not entertaining enough for them to show. But what I don't know how I feel about the show now because I feel like they're doing so much to like be like, oh my God, we're so inclusive now because the TV show, the original, was like. People like really kind of rode them hard about the fact that there was no diversity.
Yeah.
And
zero.
Like there's no representation of like women of color, and their friend group is very like, rich white woman, very like, and so now I feel like they're just like, oh my God, we're so conscious.
Like just stick everything.
They have like the non-binary like relationship, and then they have the professor who's Black, and then they have Lisa character. Nicole Ari Parker, who is Black. And then they have the Indian friend who's like the other fabulous
real estate or realtor or whatever.
And then you have, and I'm just like, we get it.
That's when I don't like when you're trying too hard, but it's just
it's so contrived.
Yeah, I mean, they always had the gay best friends.
Yeah.
So they did have that kind of.
R.I.P. to Stanford. But yeah, he and
Did
they
he
still
die?
have him. Yeah, he died. That's
like in real life?
Yeah, he died of cancer.
I didn't know that.
After I think they filmed like one of the first few episodes of the first season. Yeah, that was like.
And do they have him dying in the episode in the
No,
season
he moved
also?
Moved away in the show. Yeah. I know.
I didn't know
liked him. What's his name? Willie Garson.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they still have like his like the Mario Cantone character, whatever his name is, who's hilarious. But yeah, they just have like, and I'm like, you can't do justice to each of these characters in developing them when you have so many. I feel like you're just gonna have them. Yes, they're gonna be supporting cast, but the fact that you're just like, oh, look, like sprinkle color through it, but you don't really develop any of the characters is the same as not having them in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then they're just filler flowers.
Yeah. That's the part that I don't appreciate. I don't look at that and go, bravo. I look at that and go, really? Okay, like this is how you're doing
also
too
like
much.
It's horrible because I hate watch the show. Like I don't like it, but I like to
from the
complain about
beginning,
it.
Or you're talking about the new season?
No. I loved the TV show.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it came out when I was like 18, when we were like 17.
It was a uni series that we were watching.
We were watching it in uni, but it started when we were in high school, and I had never heard of it. And yeah, I had no business anyway.
My mom would have never even allowed. Like I wasn't allowed to watch any of those like racy shows.
Exactly. Even it had sex in the title.
I was like, forget it.
You're not even like bringing the DVD home.
All of those 90210, Melrose, Party of Five. Even I'm like, they were a bunch of orphan kids who couldn't but I wasn't allowed to watch any of those.
Oh man!
Anything after 8 p.m. was not allowed. If it wasn't on Nickelodeon, like forget it. It was not happening.
Nickelodeon's getting like
Nickelodeon's racy.
Yeah. 90210 was everything.
I could not watch that.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. I lived for 90210. I would still watch it again. Like I would rewatch it.
I would like to rewatch. I would like to watch it now.
It's so good.
Since whenever I would watch it, it'd be like if my mom and dad were like busy with something. Well, they never really left us alone. Or if we were at a friend's house and they were older and had parents who were like more relaxed.
Yeah.
And so my parents would be downstairs and my friend would be like, come, let's go watch 90210. Like they'd have a TV in the room or something. Yeah. So I'd always like find, like I'd be in the middle of a season and see bits of it.
And you'd be like, wait, who's this again?
Wait. And then you watch like, so Brenda and what's his name were together. And then the next time you do get to watch it, it's like, I thought they were together.
How is Kelly with Dylan?
Kelly with Dylan. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh my God. Best love triangle ever.
Yeah. But,
oh my God.
But a lot of those, like if you look at all of those, all of the shows from the 90s did such a bad job with diversity. I was in love with...
That was one that they really tried, actually. Because 90210, like Vivica Fox was on one of the older episodes. And she comes to the school and the whole episode is literally about the fact that there is no diversity. Wow. And the fact that she's treated differently. And they have to like come to a reckoning with the fact that they aren't diverse. And of course, the show as it went forward didn't really have that representation. But I loved that back then they even like came across that as a topic, right? Because I was like, oh, okay, it's a fluff show, but they're actually like dealing with stuff. They dealt with gun violence. They dealt with it was good. They tried like sexual assault. Like they dealt with they tried to deal with like the real issues,
right? But I remember also talking to a friend about how I was obsessed with Friends, and they pointed out to me. And I remember you also saying that you were like, I have a friend in Jordan who was like, oh, I hated that show. No diversity whatsoever. And then I remember telling you, oh, I love Friends. I always have it on in the background. And you're like, ugh. Like you did one of those like.
I was like, the one that they stole off of Living Single.
And I was just like, no, you need to tell me that. Like you never explained why that show bothers you.
Because it's there's no diversity.
Was it on at the same time as?
No, it came after Living Single got canceled, and then I think Friends started after it, or they started around the same time. But like the basis of like how the show came about, like Living Single was the original show about young people living in New York, and they were just like, oh yeah, we're gonna like just kind of tweak a few things here and there, and then and they had like the backing and the marketing and the branding and everything stood behind it. So that one got pushed forward, and it's so good. I told you I watched it again the other day, and I was like, this show was so good. And
man.
they always had cameos on it. And you see a lot of like the Black actors now who were like really young and got their start on there. And I'm like, oh my God, Terrence Howard and Morris Chestnut. It's so cute. And the writing was just so, oh my God, like the shade throwing and the one-liners.
I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, we should have a Living Single catch up, and also 90210, because I will sit down with you and watch that show anytime. It's so good. Let's do that. So good. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be a TV show recap. No. But yeah, so loved Sex and the City, the TV show. But yeah, I started it in college, I think, or Sundays after Sopranos. But yeah, it was a good TV show, I think, and just revolutionary to see, at least, even if there was no diversity, like empowerment of women. For women, I think that was a big one for that. Yeah. And I think it was nice to see the sisterhoodness as well. Mm-hmm. Like they went through all this shit and they fought, and like men came and went a lot. Yeah. And they like kind of always found their way back together. Because if you think about it, I'm trying to think, there weren't that many shows that were very female female cast led. Yeah. I mean, you had Desperate Housewives. Yeah. But even that, there was a lot more drama happening than the Sisterhood. Later. That was after Sex and the City anyway. Right. Yeah. And then before that, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, maybe they were there, but I don't feel like there was anything that was that empowering, especially with regard to women who were single and, well, except for Carrie, largely self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. And living their best life and sexually very active, but that was not presented as like a negative. Right. I think that was one of the first shows. It was like celebrating, like, celebrating that for women and freedom, and I guess. Yeah. And the ability for them to be very like almost masculine, like celebrating the feminine and masculine balance of each. And I which really is why I loved Samantha's character so much. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes she was too much, though. Yeah. But now that I'm watching it when I'm older, you're like, I'm like, girl. Oh, and if you watch some of the old episodes, like season 1, they talk about her having a self-esteem problem. Like they talk about, there's a line in one of the episodes where it says like, and Samantha couldn't stand like someone else being the center of attention, so she had to like do something. And so I was like, oh, so they kind of touched on it a little bit. So but then they have like little backstories for each one. But then it kind of went like the character went in a different direction, which I like, because she was empowered by the fact that she's like, I'm gonna live my life how I live it. And I liked that and she was the last person to judge anyone, which I liked the most about that. I appreciated, definitely, especially with among women. Like you don't find that often. Like women are quicker to judge other women than men, for example. We're really hard on each other. So and I wonder why that is, because like you also might we go through the same stuff that another woman might be suffering with or dealing with. And then when you judge, it's like, but you know how that feels. Like, why would you? I don't know. I don't know why we do that. I think really have no answer. I think that goes back to the whole, like, when you, like, if something bothers you about somebody, it's usually something that's inwards. Like, it's something about you. Like, they have a character trait that is just not something that sits well with you. And they usually say, from a psychological standpoint, that, oh, that's something that you also deal with, but you're not willing to confront and deal with. So you look at it as more of a sign of weakness, or like, like a turnoff or whatever. Like, so when we see it, and it's a trigger, exactly. So when you see that in other women, as opposed to saying, I'm with you, I feel you, I hear you, it's more like, get your shit together kind of thing. Because it's literally what you should be telling yourself. I was going to say, it's probably symptomatic of how you talk to yourself. And you're like, shit, why am I going through this? I should have my shit together. Yeah. And you're triggered by someone else kind of going through the same thing. Yep. And you respond the same way. I think that's so important as well to think about, because in a lot of cases we're told, oh, if you ever spoke to your friends the way you speak to yourself, like you would be so surprised at how like terrible you are. But we never think or hear about really the fact that a lot of how we judge or interact with our friends is ultimately because of how we view ourselves. Yeah. it's it's really confronting to think that, because sometimes someone will do something and you have to ask yourself, why does that bother me so much? And you're like, oh my God, it's because maybe that's something I struggle with.
Yeah, it's one of my triggers.
It has nothing to do with her. It's my own thing.
And I think you can that'll be like 90% of the time. Like it's like a trigger.
Which reminds me of an episode, Sex and the City, where Carrie walked in on Samantha giving like the UPS guy head in the middle of the morning, and she was like, and like, as you would be. And Samantha was like, how dare you like have that expression? How dare you judge me after everything that we've been through? And so they have this huge fight about it. And Samantha's like, for example, I wouldn't judge you if I caught you like
doing the same
thing. And she was like, you'd never catch me because
you would celebrate
I would never do.
Yeah.
And she's like, there it is. There's the judgment. And so she walks away after they have this big fight, and she walks into another room and walks in on Stanford getting
yeah.
Is it fellatio? Yeah, getting head basically from his boyfriend. And she's like, oh my God. And then she
Carrie
comes back,
or
Samantha, like immediately after that. And she's like, and so she goes back to Carrie, and Carrie comes to apologize. And she's like, you're right. I did judge you and it was wrong. And Samantha says, honestly, I had no idea what that was like for you till I walked in on someone else in that position. And she's like, I realized how confronting that would have been for you. So they both see each other's side of it. But the fact is that Samantha says something. She says, sometimes I don't even know who I am anymore. And I think a little bit of me maybe judged me a little bit. And so you realize,
because Carrie judged her, so she judged herself.
And I think she took Carrie's judgment harder because it triggered a judgment she already had of herself.
Yeah.
And so that's like similar with how we might react sort of
in certain situations.
Yeah, because we already have a certain like negative view of ourselves.
Yeah.
And someone highlights that, and you're like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You know,
so you get defensive rather than actually confronting it. Or,
right. And so like that kind of reminded me with just when we were talking about how like someone might confront you or react in their own life in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it triggers you because you're like, I hate this about myself.
Yep.
And when you see it anywhere else, you hate it. So yeah, I feel like the introspection exercise is, if you're willing to do it, it's so consistent. It's so like ongoing. It's so there'll
healing.
Always be things. Yeah, there'll always be things that point to it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but it was nice. Like we had a big group of girls on the weekend, and it was flawless. Everyone was really cool, and that food was really good. By the way,
it was so good.
Oh my God,
so
I wish I'd actually eaten more.
Part of me was like, we should have ordered double of everything.
Yeah, it was
there's so many of us.
It was that garlic sauce something that I just ate. It's something that like I had like the baby calamari, and you were like, oh,
and then my friend said it had fish oil in it. That one, there was something I was like, you need to try this.
Is that the one that she said, oh,
and
it has like cod
or something like that?
Yeah. Is that the one?
Yeah.
And you were like, just try this.
Good.
And I was like, oh, this looks basic. And I put it in my mouth.
It's like,
amazing. So good. I love all of the flavors and spices.
So, yeah.
No, it was a really good time. But yeah. And then today we're going to the movies, which will be fun.
Yeah. I'm excited.
If I so it's not scary. Much. You can scream, but honestly, you won't. You won't because, like I said, it's not jump scare scary.
Okay.
And also, it's there's like one or two jump scares, but it's not that big. But it's more like a buildup of tension, and it's more of like telling a story.
Okay.
But you're not like tense like this throughout. Like it's not suspense.
Okay.
It's more just, wow, what's going to happen next? You're really engaged.
Okay.
So there's that part of the plot, which is, as you know, like there's vampires. So there's that whole part of the plot, but then there's such a huge, and I would say that's the subplot. There's such a huge, bigger story that's being told through the music and the movement and even the lighting. Like, honestly, you get so caught up in that it's, and the way they guide you through the subplot of like the vampire story is entwined with the characters so well that you're just you're so invested in the stories and in the progression of the plot that it's beautiful. It's not scary at all.
Okay.
It's really not scary at all.
You're all witness to this. It's not scary. So next week we will decide.
Yeah, we'll have a rundown. You will tell me.
Because I literally do not do horror. Like zero.
I don't do horror either. I do thriller.
Because its genre it says horror.
Yeah. Because it's been classified as horror. Because but it's also classified as music, like a music film. Because it has a lot of like musical pieces that are part of it's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Let's see how it goes.
It's a beautiful story, and it's just beautiful. Honestly, for me, there's just a scene that I just want to see over and over for the rest of my life. And seeing it and hearing it in a theater that has like Dolby surround sound. Yeah. That's why I keep going back to see it. I'm like, yes, the movie is great, but there's just this scene. Woo! And then like just when you'll know. Don't give it away. I won't even have to tell you. I won't even have to tell you. The second time I went to see it, I went to see it with Michael, and like I was like, as soon as like that scene was approaching, I was like
Did he appreciate it? Like
he already knew. I kind of spoiled it for him. I was like, oh my god, and there's just a scene and And
don't spoil it.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you. And then and he was like, stop. So like when we went to see it, like as soon as it started, I was like, and he was like, okay, so I know that it's coming. I'm like, just listen to everything, just watch everything. He said, I can't listen if you're talking about it.
I have a feeling I'm gonna have Lisa like giving me like a backstory to every scene.
I won't. I will do it to you after. Okay. We'll talk after because it's so much. Okay. And there's so much like hidden stuff, and there's so much like Easter eggs throughout, and there's so much discussion that
I feel like I need to be taking notes during that.
No. That's for the second time you see it. The first time, just watch it. Yeah. Okay. First time, just watch it and enjoy it and everything. Although the credits were still running, and I was already like texting Nicole. I was like, "Girl, oh my god!" Blah, blah, blah. And then there's like,
and had she seen it already?
Yeah, she'd already seen it twice. And so, no, she'd seen it once at that point, but now she's seen it twice. She's going again this week as well.
Oh wow,
so, girl, so good. I'm like, Ryan Coogler, take all my monies, all of it, because hell. And he just had his birthday. I was like, I knew it. I knew it was something.
You were like in the same, cosmic kind of
giving, that
tourist vibes.
May birthday energy. Yeah, except he's only 39. I'm like, wow.
Oh wow.
What have I done with my life? Woo!
I'm excited for that then.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
All right. So we were just kind of having a little bit of a catch up this week.
Yeah.
And just sort of talking a little bit about the social aspect of our lives as well, just in case you guys think that we're like phony podcast friends only. We're actually real friends. We're not fabricated little like pairing. It's real. And also, should we talk about what we're doing with TikTok?
No, not yet.
All right.
We have something cooking, but we're still not sure how it's gonna play out. So once we have a little more detail about it, we'll tell you guys. Because we're gonna need your support, of course.
Yeah. And also your feedback as well on the best way to do it. But certainly we've had a little bit of feedback about people saying they want us to do another live. And so that's something also that we're working towards doing for you guys. So we will do better this time around and actually let you know well in advance. Yeah. And maybe post some questions in advance so we can have an interaction on the day. Mm-hmm. But that's something that we're also like, we're hearing you. It's not going unnoticed. So,
yeah.
Speaking of social things.
So I mentioned earlier that I broke my toe. You can't really tell, but my foot is like super swollen and I have
that's the reason it's elevated.
It's elevated right now. Like I have a chair here elevating my beautiful foot.
Cropped out of
which is all blue and green and like it's all sorts of colors right now. And so I was at the gym a week ago and there's a section in the gym that is just for ladies. And I usually go there because the men's side is very intimidating. Gyms need to work on this, but literally you walk in and it's all like muscle men, and doing their shit. And I walked in the first time.
What are they doing?
I walked in, I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't give a shit. I'm going to walk into the men's gym. And I went and I wanted to do one of those machines where you pull the weights down and do triceps. So you hold onto the bar and you pull the weights down.
Yeah. Oh, is it with a bar?
With a bar. And so I went to move the bar and the bar's not moving. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, no.
So it was, and I looked and like it wasn't a lot of weight, but for some reason it was stuck. So I went to like move the thing and it was jammed. So I moved the, the hook to put in the pin, and I moved it. And the guys could see that I was struggling, and I finally got it out, and the bar went boom, and it just landed straight on. I was like, hey, we're just gonna put this pin back in. I got my water bottle. I walked out. It's like, I'm done.
We're done.
So anyway, so I've been going to the ladies section.
As you were, gentlemen.
Because I was like, I think I can. I don't know why, but I was less embarrassed in front of the ladies.
Yeah. No, I know. It's less intimidating.
Yeah. So I went into the ladies section and I wanted to do this one machine where you can put weights on this barbell and then lift, like do hip thrusts.
Hip thrust, machine.
Yeah. And so I went to put weights and I was like, let me start with 10 kilos just to see how it feels, because I've never used the machine.
Yeah.
And I was like, 10 kilos is easy for my legs. Like, that's easy.
Yeah.
So
light work.
The problem with ladies gyms, ladies sections, is I don't know if we're just don't know what we're doing when we're cleaning, but like the weight
etiquette.
Like the weights were stacked up on the side of this machine to all the way to the edge. You know how there's like a pipe and they have the weights literally to the edge, and they had the small weights on the inside.
That was
on the inside.
Statement.
So I literally had to basically, I was like, let me just kind of squeeze my fingers in between to take the 10 kilo, to take the one on the end out.
10 kilos should never be on the, first of all, nothing should be on the very tip.
Yeah.
And
not 10 kilo. And all I did was just move it slightly. And as I moved it, I thought I would catch it in time, and it landed straight on my toe. And that's honestly
one of my worst fears in the gym. Is dropping a weight.
Dropping a weight, or when you put weights back and your finger gets squeezed in between. Like that's always my.
Okay,
that's
new
never
fear
happened.
Unlocked. I didn't
that's
even
never
think
happened.
About that.
Oh my God, that's happened so often. Like the way that you, especially if you're using the dumbbells and you put them back, like there's a way that if you, I've done that too. I'm not really a klutz, but I guess I'm a klutz in the gym. I don't know.
That's devastating.
And so there was 4 other women in the gym in this room with me, and I dropped the weight on my toe, and I yelled, "Oh fuck!" Literally, and it's not like I did. Oh fuck! No, like I literally screamed and was keeling over and felt like I was gonna vomit.
Oh no!
And not a single lady turned around to be like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?"
You're in Germany when?
When nobody gives a shit. And I was just like, where is the compassion? Where are the, like, come on, ladies. Like, we just spent this whole time talking about sisterhood and Sex in the City. And I was like, where is the, like, let's women supporting women?
There's
bullshit.
Nothing like that. There's none of that. We talked about this. Even if they have headphones on and they didn't hear you say fuck, you would feel a 10 kg weight
landing
drop.
on the on the floor. You would kind of,
because every now and then when those guys who are on the roids, like drop weights that they think they can lift and realize they can't.
Yeah.
You feel like the
earth shaking.
Yeah, and you're just like, you might even just do a cursory like glance and be like, you would feel it.
Yeah.
So,
I had one girl who was to the left of me who didn't even make eye contact with me, but I could see her face and she was doing this. And I was like, tell me something. Like, ask me something.
Okay?
Are you okay?
So sorry. Do you need help?
Yeah. And I was like telling you, like, the way that the gym is set up, like there's wall to floor,
mirrors,
a ceiling to floor mirrors on one side of the wall. So everyone faces the wall as they're doing this. And I'm like, you could see me in the back through the mirror. And everyone could see what was happening because all the ladies were facing in that direction.
So they're not facing you.
So even if they're not facing me, they see my reflection. They could see me keeled over. They could see me, and they could even see me limping out, and not a single woman said something. And I just thought, damn, that's like, and I heard a lot of them speaking. One of them was on the phone when I first walked in. Another one was, I think, had asked a question to somebody, and none of them were speaking German. So I could tell that they weren't maybe like they might have been internationals or whatever.
Right.
So I'm just like, wow, you become like, I'm going to say it, like Germans can be a bit cold.
Yeah, not a bit. Like and generally that is the culture here, but it's not that it's like contrived. That's just how they are.
That's just how they are.
So if you're the one person that like you mentioned, like you smile at people in the street.
Yeah, I look crazy when I'm walking.
Yeah, you will be treated like you're a weirdo. People will be like, what do you have to smile about?
Like I'm always like,
which is a fair statement.
Yeah, but I'm the person that if I see someone walking down the street and we make eye contact, I'll be like yeah, and like a little nod. And here they're just like,
people are really awkward about it. Yeah, they're either shocked or they'll be like,
yeah,
I don't know how.
It's not reciprocated.
Yeah,
so
it's very weird. So like if you're assimilating into the culture or you've been here long enough, you sort of become colder because you're like, no one's gonna say hi, no one's gonna smile. No one's gonna like nod or acknowledge or even look in the eye. Yeah. That's really rare.
Yeah.
Unless they're staring at you like creepily, no one looks you in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's mostly the look up and down.
Yeah.
Which social experiment I have started.
Oh man.
So first of all, you know how like you stare at me, I'm gonna stare back at you, and we're both gonna be stuck in this very uncomfortable loop, and I'm gonna win because I will make you feel more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I will stare at you like you have like spinach in your teeth because I'll be like, yeah. And if you keep staring, I'm gonna now also say something and be like, is there a problem?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like part one. So part two, phase two, is what I do is, and I read about this somewhere, is as a Black woman, I react, especially to old white women, with fear, which is the funniest thing.
Like you're scared of them.
Yeah. So if we're walking towards each other, I'll like clutch my bag.
Oh my God.
Or I'll be like, and it's funny because I did it once when I was walking to class last week, and it was an older lady, and I did like a, and like I grabbed my bag, and she was like startled by me being startled. So she goes, and I was like, like I did a second one, and she was just, and then it was just like all this confusion, and she was like, is she trying to scare me? Is she scared?
Oh my God.
Like it was so confusing to her. And then like you could see for a split moment, she's like, oh my God, did I scare her? And I was like, I'm gonna leave you with those thoughts.
Oh my God.
And proceed on. And I love it. So that's what I do like all the time. You know, I just go out and like preferably with like a luxury bag and then just like grab it,
clutch onto it like,
oh my God,
for dear life. Like,
or be like, oh, let me run across the street. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't want to like cross
in the other direction.
This old guy who's staring at me. Yeah. It's fabulous. So that's my new like how I entertain myself walking around.
We've been together a few times and we'll get stares. And so what I've started doing in public, yeah. And I don't know if you don't notice it or you're just immune to it. And so what I've started doing is if I see like, and it's usually always a older white couple that are just staring at us, and I have no shame. I'll look at them and be like, yeah. Do you have a problem?
See, when I'm with you or with a person, I'm like, I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna be on like low key mode. When I'm alone, I have time for the bullshit.
Right.
And I'm like, let's fight. Let's like have a
let's
interaction. Let's start shit. Like, I'm a bit bored.
Oh,
and yeah, so on the train, definitely, like, especially when they're in close proximity and they're staring, I've yelled like across the carriage too. I've just been like, yeah,
you need to.
Because if you're gonna make me feel uncomfortable, trust me, I will destroy your comfort and you will regret it. Because not just to be confrontational, but the next time you think about doing it, I want you to be so devastatingly fearful of the reaction you might get.
Exactly.
That to me is a good outcome.
People have a staring problem here. Khalid and I call it the donkey stare. They're just like, they just look at you, and so I've started also playing a game because I was reading that if you make eye contact with someone and you look away when you've made eye contact, there's usually something about like you have some sort of if you look away first, like you have some sort of insecurity or you're not confident, whatever. So now I'll be like, I make eye contact with someone, I'll be like, we're doing this. Like you want to look away. It's like a game of chicken, you know, like
who's gonna say it's
who's gonna look away first, and it's like it's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be me. And so now it's just like, but inside I'm like dying. Like sometimes it can be so uncomfortable
because some people here can really hold the stare. Like sometimes they'll really hold it. I've had some old ladies who are like, and I'm like,
I just think then that they probably can't see shit, and they're just literally just staring
they're
into.
just like,
they're just like,
yeah, they're like,
all
oh,
they
she
see
might
is
not
something
actually
blurry,
see
but they
me.
can't really see what the
No,
hell they're
sometimes
looking
they're
at.
looking right at you, and I'll like
Man.
look right back, and they
Damn.
keep going. I'm like, wow, this is actually uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna let you know that. Oh my god! But yeah, it's funny. It's a whole big social experiment.
Yeah.
Just like living here, it's very funny that there's even like human relation is so different when you think about the needs of human beings being interaction and social support and community all being the same across the board, but the way that we have decided to define that is so different from one culture to the next, which is crazy. Like, we all want the same things, and it's just that some people are like, I'm really uncomfortable with asking for help, or closeness, so I'm just going to be cold and completely like like
closed off.
And closed because it's harder to ask for help and maybe not get it. And I think that's
fear of rejection and all of that. Yeah.
I was talking with this is back when we traveled, and actually I was having a conversation with the in-laws, and so we were talking about, like, in our culture, like when you have a funeral or someone passes, like in a neighborhood, like everyone from the neighborhood will automatically just like come over and help out or bring food. Like you just know that your house is going to be full every day all the time.
Yeah.
And I was saying that the culture has changed, unfortunately, because now people show up with like plates and spoons because they come to eat at your house. And so I was like, it's really bad because it's changed and people have become really selfish. So the person who's grieving has to like
cater to all these people. Yeah.
And so my-in-law was like, actually, that's more like our culture. Like, people will come over to eat at your house, but
here,
when you're grieving. And she was saying that, like, for people here in the culture, even people coming over to eat your food is already such a huge gesture, because in their culture, they would never ask for support or help. And most of the time, you'd never get it. People would say, oh, and she said the discomfort is twofold. So the person who's grieving will be like, I don't want to ask for help and like for support and put people out. And the person who could be the support is like, I don't want to go over and put them out and maybe go at an inopportune time or an inconvenient time. So I'm just not going to show up. So you have both people just not helping each other to the point where, if in the unlikely event someone shows up and says, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and actually go, the person who's grieving is so happy to have someone that they're like, yes, let me cook and and I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
like, what
so
happened
crazy.
that you're so jaded in your interaction amongst each other?
That could go back to, like, you'd have to go back deep into history, and they've already got a really rough history. So I think that
and that's
we can
more recent.
Analyze that on another.
Historically speaking, that's like recent.
Yeah.
And so for them to get there historically, there's obviously something very wrong. But I think part of that is also that community-ness, like that feeling of like, I'm my brother's keeper, or we're all in this together. I think that's something that got lost along the way, or never existed, maybe
possibly
in that culture, which is sad, but it explains a lot. It also explains why they're drawn to our cultures, because they're always like, oh, it's so warm and it's so like welcoming, and I'm like,
that's true. That's true.
How it's meant to be.
Although they'll also be the first ones that are quick to judge our cultures
of course,
too.
Of course. But that's the thing. The same people who would what is it called? Appropriate your culture and everything about it will be the same people who ridicule you for it. So tis the world that we live in. Funny world
that we live in.
It is. So that's my current social experiment. I'll give you guys my findings as I proceed through it. Although this phase 2 I'm enjoying.
And my little game. You can try my little game as well. So
especially if you live in Europe. Because I think the feedback will be very, very entertaining at the very least. So anyway.
Okay. So I think we'll leave you with that. I think a few takeaways are sisterhood is important.
Yeah.
Find that social group,
Wear comfortable shoes if you're going out with the girls.
If you're going out with the girls.
Don't dance on tables unless you're sure.
And make sure you don't have a broken toe when you want to do that. If you see someone staring, stare right back at them.
Hold your ground.
Hold your ground.
And yeah.
And ask for help if you need help. Yeah. Don't be shy. Yeah.
And be willing to critique TV shows.
Yeah.
Watch them again 10 years later and see how you've changed. Because the show doesn't change, but your perception might. And that's a really funny way of sort of seeing how you've grown. Yeah. You see it with different eyes.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, and don't be afraid of the men's section in the gym.
Says the person who literally was like,
But look at how many lessons we've given you guys today. I mean, come on.
Learn from us.
Learn from us.
Dropping.
We are not experts. Constantly. We're just two friends that like to,
We're just like kind of like etching our way through this thing called life. But it's a fun time. It's a fun ride. And we love to talk about it with you guys as well. And just tell you what we've learned and talk about what we still need to learn as well. So hope you enjoyed.
Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff.
All the things.
We love the support, and I guess we'll see you next week. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.